Hey everybody, my name is Phil. I'm a front-end developer here at InflatableOffice, and I'm here to walk you through your new InflatableOffice WordPress website. So when you receive your site from us, it's going to be fully integrated with your InflatableOffice account. So that means that whenever you generate or sync any of your product pages, they're actually going to go right over to your new WordPress website. Anytime you update, add, remove anything like a product, a category, an image, that too will automatically sync. But there are some things that you are going to need to know to manage and update your new website. So let's go ahead and walk you through everything. Now, one thing I do want to make clear before we get started, it is extremely strongly recommended that you do take a look through 3 different types of documentation and familiarize yourself with. The biggest and first is InflatableOffice's documentation. And you can find that by going to our website at InflatableOffice.com, scrolling to the bottom and clicking on Docs. This will bring you to our knowledge base. Here you can learn everything you need to know about our software itself and also your website. So scroll down to the bottom here and find website integration. And pretty much everything that we're going to cover today, as well as more information, can be found in the article, Working with Your WordPress Site. Next, it's extremely valuable to be familiar with WordPress itself. And you can find out more information by going to codex.wordpress.org. And you can also follow the links in the knowledge base article I just showed you. This is an extremely valuable resource for learning WordPress and getting familiar with using it. Finally, big thing to know is that one of the exciting things about the sites that we are now building at InflatableOffice is they are built using a technology known as Elementor. And the exciting thing about that is no longer, if you want to change your site in the future, do you have to go through an expensive or crazy new process. You no longer have to go through the nerve-wracking process of trying to install a new theme and getting everything working again. Elementor is a complete site builder. And that means that anytime you want to swap out anything on your website, anything you want to customize, even if you want to change everything, it makes the process quick, painless, and easy. And that's truly exciting, especially in the world of WordPress. WordPress is a great product. It drives most of the internet. But at the same time, that being said, it's not always the easiest to work with. And this really makes it a step forward into the future. I strongly recommend getting to know Elementor a little bit. Even if you're not super interested in customizing your site, it's always good to know. So when you first receive your site from us, you're going to get a few different emails. The first will just be just general information. We'll be letting you know your site's ready, any customized information you might need, any final correspondence that we might have for you. And you're also going to receive a second email from the website itself. Now, with this email, definitely take special note of the username. You will need that, and also the second link here. This link's important. Definitely bookmark it. This is how you're going to access the dashboard of your website from here on out. But for now, go ahead and click this first link. And this is going to allow you to set your new password for your site. Go ahead and set that to whatever you like. I do strongly recommend that you set a strong password. Go ahead and I would also follow the recommendations they make down here. Go ahead and reset that password, and you can click log in. And now we're going to log in using that information. So this is what you'll see when you first log into your site. Now, as I said, I would definitely strongly recommend just going through the WordPress's codex, just getting familiar, but I am going to give you just kind of a quick look around. The biggest things you need to know is media. Here in media, you can actually access all of the different types of media, such as images and videos that are on your site, and swap them out, look at them, edit and crop them as needed. Pages is where all the different pages of your site are stored, such as products and categories, your home page, any custom pages that you might have. Appearance, this is where you set certain customization settings, and we will cover in a little bit more detail later. Plugins is where you go to actually access and see the different plugins that are installed in your site. And if you don't really understand what a plugin is, again, I recommend going to WordPress's documentation and kind of getting a sense for WordPress itself. That would definitely prove invaluable if you'd like to really customize anything on your site. users is where you can actually go to access the different users for your site. Typically, for WordPress sites out in the wild, people who run blogs, they might actually have subscription services and they would access these here. For you, this is really just going to be a record of who has administrative access to your site. And for now, you can just see, this is our preview site that we use to show people what our websites look like. And you can just see it's our web developers and administrative staff that have access right now. You'll also need to know about settings. This is where general settings are stored for WordPress itself. And again, this can be learned out in much more detail at the codex. These next few cover Elementor tools itself, and you can learn more about these by looking through Elementor's documentation. And then we also have InflatableOffice. Now, something to keep in mind is that when you receive your website, it will be fully set up for you. Everything will be fully integrated. But if you ever do need to make changes, or if you need to get something for support when you're calling in, this is where you would access this information. This is where also you'll customize certain types of pages, and we'll cover that in just slight more detail here shortly. So let's get into actually customizing your site. Now, your site will come in to you, depending on what package that you actually bought from us, it will come in different formats. For those of you who bought custom websites, of course, everything will be taken care of for you. For those of you who bought perhaps the lesser tiers, there will be varying amount of stuff done. But it's still, no matter which package you've bought, it's really good to know where certain things are stored for customization. In case you do something like change your phone number in the future, and you want to change it right on the spot, that way you don't have to wait for one of us to help you out with it. The most important customization options are going to be found here in Appearance and Customize. And one thing we've tried to do for everybody is keep the most important things that you're going to customize grouped as closely together as possible. So the two biggest things you're going to want to know about are site identity and header settings. Site identity allows us to customize the logo, your site title, and your site's description. Something important to know for those of you who do know a little bit about web development and understand what a meta tag is these sites are set up that your tagline here will also become your meta description. Keep that in mind if you are optimizing this for SEO purposes. For the rest of you who are just kind of setting up your site, we've done a lot of the SEO work for you as much as possible from our side. The title that we have in here works really, really well. And of course, feel free to customize it or keep as is. The other most important bank of settings is here where your actual contact information and social media settings are. And this is in header settings. Here you can set any information you like. And something else important to know is if you want something not to show up, simply just remove it and it will actually just simply automatically come off of your website. If you need to change information, well, just simply put it in and there you are. And then you would click Publish. Now, the next biggest thing you're going to want to know is about menus. And this is found through Appearance and Menus. Now, something really, really important to keep in mind is that menus are not as automatically synced as the rest of your website will be with InflatableOffice. This is due to the complexities of how menus are set up and the fact that there is no ability to predict how a menu is set up or how you would like it to be set up when we are syncing your website. Therefore, you will need to understand how to administer your menu if you make large changes in your website in the future. And these will be found here. All of the pages on your site can be found by clicking View All under Pages here. And you can simply scroll through and you can find what you want. You would click and hit Add to Menu, and you can bring it over here and you can drag or drop wherever you'd like it. If you look here and you see the different indentations, this actually matches up to different levels of menus on your site. So anything you drag in another level from its top level will simply become a sub-menu of whatever item you've chosen. If you would need to create a custom link, that can also be done here. And for those of you who have highly customized sites, for those of you who run blogs, they can be posted here. And blogs are actually something we will cover in the future in another instructional video showing you how to set up one if you do choose so. They are certainly not required. And in today's modern internet, they are definitely less paid attention to than they once were. But they can be, at the same time, for certain types of niches, certain types of businesses, a very, very good tool to use, and we will cover that. Categories you probably largely won't use, again, unless you are blogging. Now, let's talk about your home page. You access your home page through going to Pages, and you need to scroll through and find the page that is marked Front Page. Your front page is one of the things that's actually controlled by Elementor. That means that it does work differently than what most of you who have worked with WordPress in the past might be used to. Everything is now a drag and drop interface, so it's quite easy to customize anything that you like, change colors, layouts, images. I would strongly recommend, if you want to go down this road, that if you are looking to do a lot of customizations on your site, that you do review Elementor's documentation. It's extremely intuitive and fairly easy to use, but you'll certainly learn it a lot quicker if you do refer to that documentation. And again, just everything here on the home page is really, really easy to edit. And then just, if you do make changes, you just simply click Update and you can leave. Now, this is covered in a lot more detail in our written documentation, but the biggest thing to understand just right away is that not all of the pages of your site are actually edited with Elementor, and that is because of the I/O integration. And so anything that's coming over from Inflatable Office should not and cannot be edited with Elementor, and it has its own customization process. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. And the complete list to help you understand what pages are and are not editable is covered in our written documentation at InflatableOffice.com. I would definitely strongly recommend looking over that before you do too much in the way of changes to your site. That way you understand where everything is located. WordPress can get, while it is easy, it can also get complicated pretty quickly. But just a quick overview is to understand is that any sort of category or product page cannot be edited with Elementor. It needs to be actually edited through Inflatable Office, and this is done through the shortcoder. I'm not going to cover shortcodes here. That gets out of the basic level that we are trying to cover now. But what you do need to understand for now is if you want to make changes to category or product pages, that is done here. Again, if you refer to our written documentation, we cover how this works in a little bit more detail for you. And of course, you can always feel free to reach out to us. We can always help you get started. And also, you can also pay us a small development fee to help customize your site further, depending on what package you are. And if you've paid for a lower package, you can always pay out a little bit more money, and we'd be happy to develop a few custom solutions for you as well. Now, the next biggest thing to understand before we go here is site backups and restoration. Now, when you receive your site, we are going to have already set it up so that it will always keep 5 backups, and they will be daily. And that way, so if you do make a mistake on your site, it's really, really easy to roll back. And these are accessed through Settings, Updraft Plus. And again, you don't really need to mess around with keeping backups. If you are someone who does enjoy administering your site, if you're someone who knows what you're doing, you can use this to actually hook up to several cloud tools so you can actually store a backup elsewhere other than just on the server itself. But that's not required. We keep backups of our own, of course, as well. So if you ever run into serious trouble, we can always help you out. For someone who is just simply looking to restore maybe something that you did wrong, you can always find your existing backups here within Updraft's main settings and backup and restore page. And just simply click the one you want to restore, click the restore button, and follow the on-screen instructions. And it will walk you right through getting your site back to exactly the state it was when that backup ran. A very, very invaluable tool to know. So really, that's mostly everything you need to know about your new WordPress website. Maybe a few final tips would be that your site is set up to auto-update. I mean, you don't need to worry too much about updates. If you ever do need to manually run one or something happens, you can always access that through updates here. And beyond that, I would just like to leave you with a final suggestion of definitely make sure that you check the different kinds of documentation I've showed you. Always remember to check our documentation. And of course, always feel free to reach out to our support team or your developer if you ever need help with anything. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you for buying a new website from us, and have a great rest of your day.